branch of the general meeting of the Alamance branch of the NAACP is into session. Mr. Royster, are you there?
I most certainly am.
All right, would you give us a little prayer to start the meeting off with, please?
Yes, sir. Father God, we thank you for our lying down last night and waking up this morning in our right mind. Father God, where our limbs were able to move. Father God, we thank you for, as we got up this morning, that we knew that we were still alive. We knew that you was God Almighty. Father God, thank you for the people who are on the phone or whoever listen to this NAACP general membership. Thank you for those who, for whatever reason, are not able to. Father God, bless this meeting as we go along. Let us be in unison. This is my prayer for Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Is there the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion that the minutes be approved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I second.
The motion's been made and properly second. Are there any questions, concerns, deletions, additions? I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the minutes, make some sign of the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Mr. Allison. All right.
Aye.
All right. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried. The minutes are approved. Kathy, how much money we got? Oh, Dr. Flint, is that you? Dr. Flint, were you saying aye or will you have a question? You're muted.
I've been diagnosed with COVID, so you might not hear me too well. I just want to know, did those minutes get sent out? I don't remember seeing them. I know if everybody's voting, everybody maybe got them but me.
Dr. Albert, do you know if
Well,
Natalia?
I don't know if she sent them to everyone. I remember seeing a copy, so I'm not sure. And I know that, Natalia has not been feeling well, so which is probably why she's not on this call to be able to answer.
I'm actually on today.
Oh, okay.
My camera off. I'm in bed. I'd have to go through and check honestly, and see what the status is. It's not quite sure, but I can go through and see, and I'll send those out.
Yeah, I think this is the second time Dr. Flynn has said that she hadn't gotten some. Could we make sure that we have her, that it hadn't been kicked out, or that she's on our list?
Yeah, I'll double check the list.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Flynn.
Yeah, because I have 2 email addresses for Dr. and I think I use the correct one, so maybe we just need to double check that.
Yeah, let's verify that.
I think that's probably the problem.
Okay.
Kathy, how much money we got?
At the end of June, we had $27,834.48.
All right. The chair will entertain a motion to receive the treasurer's report as information.
I make the motion. We receive the treasurer's report as information.
All right. Is that second?
Second.
I think I heard Kathy. Was it Kathy you seconded?
Dr. Flint
second. Okay. Thank you. The motion was made by Reverend Allison and seconded by Charlie Flint, Dr. Flint. All those any questions for Kathy? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion carried. Any correspondence that we need to know about, Dr. Yarborough?
No, the only thing that they're advertising now is the national conference.
Okay, thank you. So folks, our general meetings are typically speaker meetings. We felt it important to dedicate this meeting to the Freedom Fund banquet. I appointed a Freedom Fund committee. The executive committee decided voted that it was about time we start going back to business as usual, and voted to approve having a Freedom Fund banquet this year, and this year will be in the fall and not in the spring. So we felt it was important to give space for the Freedom Fund Committee Chair, Paul Keller, to talk about Freedom Fund. We want to talk about the importance of it, some of our past experiences, and what our plan is going forward. Is Evelyn Curtis, Graves Curtis on yet?
No, she's not good. She has a meeting, but she sent the information to Britt and to me.
Okay, so we'll cap that off at the end of the Freedom Fund presentation with some information about housing, and we'll do some committee reports and announcements, and then we will let you get back to your rainy July Saturday afternoon. Paul, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Barrett. Am I supposed to stretch this out?
No, you're supposed to be as succinct as possible.
But you will.
I know most of you on the call. There are a few faces I don't know, so I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the Freedom Fund banquet. And it was suggested maybe we start out with some pictures from the past Freedom banquets, Freedom Fund banquets. And I'm going to go ahead. Let me see if I can share my screen here. I may have done that wrong. Bear with me, folks. Sorry about that. I just got to make this full screen there. Does that look right, Barrett?
Yes.
Good. Somehow I figured that out. So like I said, just going to start with some pictures from the past banquet. Kimry, what was her name, Barrett?
Yeah, I don't. It was the last name was Kimry, but I don't remember her first name.
Was it Madison?
That's it.
Yep. Yeah, she was an amazing person. We'll just go through some of those photos here. And there may be a way to post some of these on the website if you guys want more pictures. But we've had nice banquets in the past. For the most part, they've been catered by Western Steakhouse. So what we're proposing is what we're going to do, it's already been voted on. We're going to have the Freedom Fund banquet, save the date, Friday, September 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. And we've been talking to Greg Milton, and at this time, he's planning on bringing the high school band to start the event right at 6 o'clock. They do have a football game later that night, but they're going to bring the school bus by and let the band play a song or two. So if that's something that you want to see, make sure you're there at 6 o'clock, because they'll be starting at 6 o'clock on the dot. The venue will be the Graham Mill, and that's their website, thegrahammill.com. And you can go and see pictures of the facility. It's a beautiful facility. There's also a video there, but that's across from the Graham Presbyterian Church. And the city has arrangements to use that parking lot as city parking 6 days of the week. So that parking shouldn't be an issue. There is another city parking lot, which is 1 block east. Not even 1 block, it's a half a block east. And they will have a person there to help direct parking if that becomes confusing for folks. The Graham Mill.
Recording in progress.
Somebody needs to. That's the venue. They more or less have given us a couple of extra hours for setting up and taking down. What normally would have been a 5-hour event is going to be 3 hours. And there's no charge for the setup or the takedown, and they take care of all of that for us. And they'll have one person there to make sure the bathrooms are clean and answer questions. And they're setting up all the tables and the chairs for us. They don't decorate, and we'll be able to get in that day at 3 o'clock p.m. to decorate. We can't get in any earlier because there's a wedding rehearsal dinner. Anyhow, so it comes to $1,200. Just for comparison purposes, when we've held events at the Palladium, we were looking at $2,500 for the facility and the rental items. We had to rent everything from them, their dishes and the chairs. The Grand Mill, they only have, they have 150 chairs, so we need to rent 50 more chairs and 10 more tables. So we're looking at an additional $710 there. And I'll do a recap on the end of all of these costs. And Western Steakhouse, this is the menu we've had before. So some of you may not remember, I helped, I was chair of the banquet for 2014, 15, and 16, and we used Western Steakhouse, all three of those events, and never had a complaint on the food. Johnny goes way overboard, making sure there's plenty of food for everybody, and then they have their servers coming around, making sure everybody has everything that they need. But they provide the disposable dishes, cleanup, and like I said, have the servers. So the price has gone up over the years. Way back in 2016, it was $10.95 per person. It's now $15.95 per person is what we're being charged. But when you look at $16, there's not too many places you can go and get 3 entrees, 3 or 4 salads, and 4 side dishes. So it's a pretty good value. And then we have to add tax and the gratuity. That takes it to $4,043, or roughly $20.22 per person. Things we're looking at now, the committee's discussing possibly having a DJ there or a sound system. We're not planning dancing afterwards. We had done that in the past. I think a lot of people just want to get home. And we're looking for a speaker. So if any of you know a dynamic speaker who might be available, we would appreciate hearing from you. The statues and awards, in the past, there were $600. That number has gone up quite a bit. We're working on some modifications there. And just miscellaneous stuff, we just had to put a number on that, $350, and a few other considerations there. But I'm also looking for sponsors. So if somebody wants to come in and sponsor flowers or the DJ or something like that, let us know, and we'll make sure that you get credit for that. A lot of people I know want to help out, chip in, but they're not quite sure what to do. They haven't been asked. Well, this is me asking. So we have different committees: awards committee, speaker committee. And this is the summary of the costs. TCS, that's the rental place for the tables and the chairs. Western Steakhouse. And Johnny does have some tablecloths, and the committee is going to meet at the Graham Mill 4:30 tomorrow. I'm not sure if we got notification out on that, and we'll make sure the committee is aware, but they have agreed to let us see it tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Dorothy. And they have agreed to let us in. And Johnny let me borrow some tablecloths, so I'll be checking that out tomorrow. And then the ad book, I'll talk about that in just a minute. But we're looking at almost $8,300 in expenses. So we have our work cut out for us if this is going to be a fundraiser, don't we? Possible revenue would be the souvenir book, maybe some sort of an auction. Someone mentioned a cake auction. We had done something like that in the past. And we decided we would be doing lapel pins as a souvenir item. And I'll show that in just a minute here. And we're looking for some other income ideas too. This is the one of the souvenir books that we did in the past. It's got a hardcover. All the ads inside are full color ads. So if you know of anyone or a business who might want to advertise, this is a great source of fundraising for us. So the vendor that we've used in the past is called Unitech. They're out of state. The cost to print 210 color saddle stitched books like we've had previously. I'll cover that in just a minute. We're looking at 32 pages. They don't charge shipping. 2019, when FedEx did the same books, it was $781. So we're looking at $479 for 210 books from Unitech. So roughly one full page is $100. Or you can buy a third page, which is a business sized ad, or a half page. A half page would be $50 and the business card sized ad would be $35. But for every full page or combination thereof, the smaller ads yields $100 per page. So in other words, 5 pages of ads will cover all of our costs to print the books and have them delivered to us. So anything over 5 pages is going to be gravy for us. So get out there and help us sell the ads. Brittany might have some stuff to add on that. I think there's things posted online now. This is the souvenir book order form, and I think Ernestine's going to have some of those copied. But they're your full page, half page, third page rates, 150, 35, and then there's 4 patron levels. And if somebody wants, the patron levels are 250, 100, 50, and 35. So if somebody wants to donate and perhaps they don't have an ad that they want to run, then they can be a patron. So the problem we've had in the past always seems to be getting the ad copy from the business who wants to run the ad. So we're 70 plus days away from the event. So we have a deadline of September 10th to get that ad copy to us. That's almost 2 months. And the way we're going to do it this year, hopefully we get the ad copy, but if we don't have the ad copy by the 10th, we'll still take the money, but we'll convert. For example, if you wanted a full page ad for $100, you'd become a gold patron at $100. Or if you had a $50 ad and you weren't able to get us the ad copy, then you'd become a $50 silver patron and your name would be listed in that category in the book. And then this is the receipt form. And here's a copy of the souvenir pin that we're looking at. And to have 200 of those made and delivered to us, we're looking at $455 for that. So everybody will get one of those. And we'll hand them out the night of the event. Your ticket will have a ticket stub. And at the door, you just give it the stub and we'll hand you the pin. And that way we know everybody gets one. And this is the ticket. And it's got the tear off stub there on the end. And I've got 200 of those printed and ready to go. And I'll be distributing those tomorrow night to the committee members. And then we're looking at having tables, maybe to honor a loved one. And I was thinking of George Mebane, for example. He did a lot for the branch, and I'd like to have a table in his honor. And basically, there's 10 seats to a table, so $450 would be the price for the full table. So if somebody wants to head up the effort for a particular person or a cause, I've also reached out to the different Dem caucus groups, and they're all excited. And I think they're going to want tables and individual tickets, because some of the caucuses are looking at more than 10 seats. So we have 150 tickets that I've earmarked for members to sell. And then there's 50 tickets reserved for online sales. And I'll let Brittany talk about that. I think that's it, Barrett. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
This is Patsy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Patsy.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to open the floor for questions.
Thank you. I just wanted to say to Paul about the tables. How many sits at a table?
10 seats to a table.
10 seats to a table. Okay. Could you or Dorothy, on my behalf, to reach out to the school superintendent, who's a fellow DIM, but I know that he is really making an effort to get out into the community. He's already been to several events. And I think a nice little special invite, inviting him and his new staff, which his executive staff are all relatively new, to come and purchase a table would be a really
Yeah,
good
he's
idea.
on my list.
Oh, thank you.
He's
Jen.
on my list.
Okay, I'm sure he will be there then. Thank you so much. It'll be nice to send one to the school board separate. We have funds that they can buy one, a table as well.
Thanks,
Thank
Patsy.
you.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah, he was already on the list.
Well, you know, if you know of
I
anyone
can
else,
I can share the screen if you want me to show the online ones.
sure.
Okay. I'm talking through theirs because I was on my phone, so I'm on the computer. So we just launched the online ticket sales today. And you can get those, the patron levels and the journal ads, excuse me, through the website. So let me go ahead and share. Where did things go? So if you go to the site, you should see this pop up, but you can go to acnaacp.org, and then here's the Freedom Fund Banquet. There's also a link on Facebook, and you've got all the information, the ads. Come down here if you want to download the souvenir form, you can do that, or you can purchase online. And come over here. Make sure you get the ticket with whichever level you want. If you want to do patron or journal ad, just make sure you also select the ticket and however many you want. And then hit the attend, and then you can do the bronze patron or whichever, but just for example, attend. Come up to the cart, and everything should, I didn't hit the attend part, but so if you want to do that, and then everything should be in your cart, and you can just proceed to check out. So yeah, everything's also available online at acnaacp.org.
Looks
And I will
good.
go
Thank
ahead
you.
and put that in the chat. No problem.
One other thing, if you and a group of friends want to sit together, we're not reserving individual chairs, obviously, but if someone wants to be responsible for a table of 10, let us know, and we'll block out 10 tickets for you. But whether you want to honor someone, a committee, or one of the caucus groups, that's how we'll do it this year. So, Dorothy, did I miss anything?
No, but we have a Mary Louise's hand is up. She's muted, but her hand is up. I didn't know whether she had a question for you.
Mary
Okay.
Louise?
How are you, Paul?
Good.
Actually, it's a question and a comment, a clarification, because Robert and I have been to many of the events where they sell cakes, and I'm just really excited because it's been our experience that it works really well. And I was just wondering, the way that we observed it was they'd have a lottery, and people would buy tickets, and then they would call names, and then the person could go to where the cakes are and choose whatever they wanted. And that was really fun. And people bought extra tickets just so they could get called. was just wondering, and it's been our experience that, it's a good fundraiser, so I'm really excited about that. Is that how you plan on doing it, or were you going to put price tags on them, or how is that going to work?
Well, let me ask you this. Is that something you might have an interest in helping us with?
I can't right now. I'm awfully sorry. And Robert can't either. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, we're just looking for different
I'm
ideas.
talking for him, but he's right here, actually. I was just wondering,
Yeah.
are you going to sell them? Are you going to sell them individually? Is that what you were planning on?
I'm not even sure we're doing it. It was just a thought that somebody had raised where we've only had two
we
meetings.
normally, we usually have, because all homemade cakes, and they usually be on them, and they really bid because they really bring, it's an excellent fundraiser, and so people really bid up on those cakes, and usually it's the highest bidder. We have a time frame for bidding, for the auction, and that's the way we have done it in the past.
Robert and I would be more willing to donate cakes. We could participate in that regard. I was just wondering, because Dorothy's right. It just works wonderfully. People love to take the cakes and go home and eat them with their families. And I just wanted to tell you that's exciting.
How many cakes are we talking about?
Well, I mean, we've most of the time when we've and it's a church kind of thing, or some kind of organization, there's usually a big table with cakes, like, at least 15 to 20, and then the people buy the tickets, and then you call the number, and it's really exciting, because then the first person goes up and picks whatever cake they want. And then, like I said, it makes people want to buy more tickets.
I love that idea. Let's if you all give me 20 cakes, we'll have a table.
Well, we always have the dessert tables set aside from the others we have for the last of the last Freedom Fund Day. We had cakes.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Tables set aside.
I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't hear your comment. What was that?
I said I need about 20 or 25 cakes. That's my only problem. So I've got people who volunteered in the past to bake cakes, but I haven't come back to them and say, hey, you need to bake me some cakes.
Well, we got them before. Those who promised gave us cakes.
Arlene's raising her hand.
Yeah,
and
Robert
Patsy has her hand up.
I think Patsy's hand is up too.
Everybody's talking at the same time. Hold on 1 second. Arlene was saying something, even though but you're muted, Arlene.
I think Patsy had her hand up too.
Okay, let's do Arlene and then Patsy.
No, I was just volunteering to make at least one.
All right, love it. Patsy?
I was going to say that there is several new businesses in town. I know a couple of people from my church have opened businesses that sells cake, and it would be a great way to ask them if they would donate a cake and they could put their business card in front of the cake. It would be a form of advertising for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's another way of getting some money from that. So
that's a great idea, Patsy.
Yeah, and I can reach out to a couple of them that I know and give them the dates and times and get that from them. But other than that, I don't bake. But I think that would be a good idea. Just go into some businesses and asking them to donate them. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Thank you. That's a great idea. Okay. Barrett, anything else?
So if anybody would like to work with the committee, please let Paul know. I'm happy to appoint whoever wants to work. One of the things I wanted to say traditionally about the awards are that we usually give them out in accordance to the committees. So the awards go out for people who are in Alamance County, who have contributed to social justice within the parameters of the committees. So in the past, there have been the housing committee, an education award, a business award, a youth award, just depending upon who was recommended. And what we try to do is poll the branch and send out an email asking branch members to nominate people. And then if the response is not, we don't get a response from the poll in the branch, then the awards committee, you can submit nominations to the awards committee, and then they choose. I think we'll be giving out few awards this year, but then there's also, and one of the awards is a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's the Sidney Smith Lifetime Achievement Award, which was established when Ernestine was the president, and we have continued to give that out for somebody who has had a long term, I think 20 years of contributing to social justice in Alamance County. And then the President's Award, which tends to be kind of a volunteer of the year award. So I want you to think seriously about people who deserve these awards, who have really contributed. We don't want to, we want to make sure that, well, the awards have been given out for meritorious service. So we want to make sure that we find people who are really, really deserving of these awards. And the other thing is, I know that in the past, Ernestine has also worked with the Chamber of Commerce sometimes to get stuff for a swag bag for folks to take away with them. So I think that's something to consider. But I want to also thank Paul for doing this. It is a fantastic event. I want to talk a little bit about the Freedom Fund fundraiser. As a fundraiser, all the branches are asked to do are required to do a Freedom Fund banquet, and it also contributes to some of the money goes to the state, and we have to contribute to the North Carolina State Conference with those funds, but most of it goes to continuing the work of social justice in Alamance County. And how many of you know that that freedom is not free? And there are permits that for marches and providing educational supplies, the beautiful tablecloths and stuff that we have when we go out to canvass and register to vote. Those are the kinds of things that we use those funds for. So we're not just collecting money for the sake of collecting it. We are collecting money and fundraising funds to contribute to the idea that peace and justice are to belong to everybody, everywhere, all the time in Alamance County. And we're putting forth an effort to do that, while at the same time recognizing people who have done this, who are doing this heavy lifting every single day. But thank you to the whole committee, not just Paul. That committee has been working pretty seamlessly for I guess ever since well, even before I was president, that committee falls in. It is the only function of the committee. They get called into action, and they work diligently to put these programs together. And I want to thank every single person who, I didn't even have to prod the group. People just fell in line to volunteer. And I didn't even get to appoint a chair. They said, you just tell us that we can get together and we'll develop our own leadership, our own strategy. And everything has been extremely well organized. And I'm super excited about getting back into a Freedom Fund mode. So sell these tickets.
Offered to volunteer to help with the cakes. I just wanted the record to show that so we wouldn't forget.
Who's that?
Patsy.
Oh, right.
Simpson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patsy. That's a big help.
You're welcome. Once again, Paul, what's the cost of the table and the individual ticket?
Well, that's $45 per ticket, and you can get 10 chairs to a table. So the whole table is just 10 times 45, $450.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also highlight the work that we've been doing over the past 2 years since we've had the Freedom Fund. So we will be highlighting that work. So by all means, when you get your tickets from Paul, do not think of this as the committee's event. This is the branch's event. And so every single person who is a proud member of the NAACP, take this opportunity to move these tickets. And we need you. I mean, you see what we're up against with the rollbacks in environmental justice and women's rights and voter education and education. They banning books and the housing crisis. We need an army of folks to combat this. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to get people in the room so they can hear the messaging, so they can find out what they need to do to get involved and to celebrate the people who've been doing the work all along. So please try and move these tickets and get people in, get the people in the room so they can get a firsthand account of what's going on in Alamance County.
Hey, Barrett.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to encourage everyone to get your tickets as soon as you can, because with the caucus groups and all of the things that are going on politically that are going to drive voting this year, I don't see any problem selling 200 tables or 200 seats. And we still have lists of the people who bought tickets in the past. So as a last resort, we'll call people who bought tickets in the past. But yeah, get your tickets right away.
Mm-hmm. Somebody had a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paul, I talked to Darul Diab about being a DJ. Do you know Darul Diab? He's a teacher over at Cummings, right? I'll talk with him about being a DJ. He's got a lot of experience doing it. He would bring a lot of energy to the room.
Would definitely take that into consideration. We got a list of names we're working from, but we'll add him. That you said that's is that Gloria's son?
It is.
Okay.
That's Gloria Diab's son. Any other questions or concerns about the Freedom Fund? We all excited about it?
President Bear, this is Patsy.
Patsy's hand is up, Mr.
Yes.
President.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Pat.
Once again, having listened to Paul, I'm excited, yes. But having listened to Paul with the potential expenses, and at 45 times, say 300 people, you're not making a profit. Let somebody else do the math behind me.
Sorry.
And I was going to say, like for the businesses, Alamance Partnership for Children, I said the school system, you got Alamance for Chiefs, and certain groups, as a business or the chamber or whatever, certain groups, you could in fact charge more for a table in order to increase the profit. Just throwing out. I just want to make sure that with the potential expenses having gone up this year due to inflation, like everything else, that we have to sell those tickets at a point where, based on capacity, that you can at least cover the expenses and make the profit. Thank you, Paul. Yes.
So what I wanted to say is, I realize that it's going to be the ad books. It's going to be things like the cake auction. I have one or two other things in mind, but it is an uphill climb. And I did try to get, we discussed the possibility of doing $50 a ticket, which would have brought in another $1,000, but people felt that would have just been too much. But you can't go out anywhere and get the kind of meal that we're doing for $50. But I hear what you're saying. Our work's cut out for us. I dwelled on the expenses on that PowerPoint. I didn't dive into the revenue for the ad sales and the patron levels. So every year we do have money coming in from patrons, so we'll be fine. It's just we had to be careful how high we could raise that ticket price. And the other thing is, for $45, everybody's getting a lapel pin. That's a $10 value as well. So, but I appreciate your comments.
Did I understand, Pat, that you were asking maybe about a corporate rate for groups that like the Partnership for Children that like those tickets might be more?
Right. I was just saying the table, maybe, if they are a sponsor and they want to come and not only pay to be a sponsor in the book, but we want to encourage them to actually show up and come and fill seats. They would be a little bit more willing to pay more for a table than just Patsy and Larry Simpson coming by ourselves and having to pay more.
Here's the problem with a corporate sponsorship, let's say of $450. They will be happy to write the check for $450, but they won't fill those seats. And unfortunately, the night of the event, you might have 2 people and 8 empty seats. And we've been in a sold out situation before where we've had extra seats. So that's why we have the patron level. If they want to donate, and you can certainly donate more than $250, and anyone who does more than $250 will get special recognition. But that's one of the reasons why we didn't want to just sell groups at a table for people who may not fill those seats.
Thank you, Paul.
Are there any other questions, concerns, additions, ideas?
Ernestine just put a comment in the chat.
How do you see all of this, Dr. Yarbrough? Thank you.
Looking.
Thank you.
She said that Reverend, did you see?
Reverend Gatewood has been asked to DJ, and
has confirmed.
Waiting for answer. So she says that they've talked to Reverend Gatewood, and Gatewood confirmed he would DJ, he could DJ. So we've got some options for DJing. And so that you understand the process here, the committee gets together, they meet, they decide what the direction they'd like to go with the programming, with the awards, and then they bring that to the executive committee, and the committee votes to approve the recommendation from the committee. Or they tweak it and then approve it, but that's the process. It's still a committee. It goes committee, executive committee, and that's how people have input on it. So some of the decisions are still up in the air. It's because the committee hasn't made a recommendation yet. They're still finalizing things. They're still working out the program. Dr. Yarbrough and I are ex officio members of every committee, so we are participating in that as well. I try to let the committees operate as independently as possible, but we are members of every committee. Any other questions?
No, Mr. President, you did mention the how we use the funds. I will say part of the communication that we did receive from the state, they have sent communication out to let us know that we will be paying $250 this year for the humanitarian fund, and that we will be paying $1,000 for Mother of the Year. And I think they're giving us an October deadline for those funds. So I know that we will be paying the state conference those funds, and then 25% of the Freedom Fund banquet of the net profit will go to national.
Thank you for that clarification. I do get fuzzy with who gets which money, but we also do understand that this is the NAACP is a franchise, and that we pay these assessments in order to be able to use the NAACP name and seal and operate under the auspices of the NAACP. So these obligations are things that we do have to pay to contribute to the greater whole. So thank you for clarifying what funds go where. Appreciate it. Anything else? All right, Dr. Yarbrough, you want to talk about the housing, or Brittany? Somebody want to? Dr. Yarbrough.
Or I can do it.
Are you on mute? You're muted.
Oh, Rick, were you going to put up the flyer?
Y'all working together? Okay.
Yep, I have the flyer. Do you want me to put it in the chat and go over it?
Yes.
Okay,
That would be
hold on
great.
1 second.
Is she muted?
Hey, I'm sorry, I had to jump over to Barrett's so that I could upload it to the chat. And I'm opening it now. So the affordable housing, there will be the Healing Station FRC is hosting an affordable housing community information session on Thursday, July 21st from 10 a.m. to noon at Celebrate Church, 802 Chapel Road in Chapel Hill Road in Burlington. And the Graham Housing Authority, Burlington Housing Authority, allied churches, local property managers, and realtors and everybody will be available at the event. And I will put the contact information for the Healing Station in the chat.
And the reason for that is because we are having a housing crisis. There are a lot of people who are calling for emergency housing, but we don't have emergency housing in Allis County. Neither do we have a committee. That we used to have a committee that on a monthly basis to talk about housing and how we might be able to get people who need emergency housing and or either some of the homeless housing, and no one does that now. So the Healing Station under the directorship of Pastor Evelyn Graves Curtis will be starting. We'll have that meeting on Thursday. I think it was last week or maybe week before last, and she's going to bring updated information. If you if you look at the court, I think there was 185 confirmed evictions last week or week before last. She's going to get last week, so we don't know where these people are going. The other problem we are facing is that a lot of landlords are selling their property. So we have individuals with housing vouchers, but a voucher is no good if you cannot find a place to live or someone who will take a voucher. So there are people who are having to move almost immediately because the landlords are selling their, selling the property. And so now the people, we have people calling the NAACP, calling her the Healing Station in lots of places because they and their children are without shelter. So there's a great need for something to be done about housing in Alamance. The other issue that will be discussed is we have where some landlords are, certainly housing, the rental is increasing, some as much as 50%. They're calling HUD and legal aid to see what can be done about issue as well. And yes, we're building a lot of new apartments, but a lot of people in one bedrooms, and the majority of them are starting at $1,000+. And most of them will, the people need more than one bedroom, and they don't have $1,000 plus all of the deposits and so forth. So it's going to be a major discussion around that. So anyone who can attend Thursday will be greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Just a question. What doesn't the Allied churches house people in an emergency situation?
But we are told that we don't have an emergency housing. We don't have emergency housing. So I think what he's going to do is to tell exactly what it is that he can, and what he does at Allied Churches. He's going to be there. So again, we are going to find out if they are coming to the shelter, what time they can come in, what time they have to leave in the morning, and if they have family housing, housing for families. So, and if so, and I know they don't have a lot, but we are told we don't have emergency housing in Alamance County. So we are trying, we know that United Way just hired a housing specialist. The county commissioners gave funding for a housing specialist too. So we want to know the job duties, or what are the responsibilities of the house specialist at United Way as well.
Okay, thank you. But I guess I better go to the meeting so I can find out what we're doing.
Does Patsy have a question, or is her hand up hadn't been taken down? I see her hand is up.
Patsy, your hand up.
I'm sorry. I was typing a question. I forgot to take my hand down. Not a question, but I was, Dr. Yarborough, if I could encourage you, whoever is spearheading this event, please invite Benita Brown, who is our McKinney Bento specialist for the school system, who work with families and children who are displaced. And she can talk about the services that she provides for school-aged children and what services. And I think that would be a great to have her on that panel, and also to talk about people who families that may qualify if they do have to do doubling up, meaning more than one family living in a household due to evictions or other reasons. A lot of people don't know that the students qualify for that based on doubling up. So, she would be an excellent resource for you at that meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to invite, thank you. We're going to invite her. We're also inviting her to the Education Committee's meeting on Wednesday, because the concern we have is if the people are getting evicted. For example, we had 2 or 3 calls last week and the week before, and each of the families had 3 or 4 children. So, that certainly will, and they're school-age kids. So so now when it's time for them to go back to school, we wanted to get feedback from her on that. So we certainly will, we do have her on the list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions about that? Reverend Allison, it's so good to see you with us this evening. A couple of years ago, we had appointed you religious affairs chair, along with, help me, Dr. Yarborough.
Karen Slade.
Co-chair with Karen Slade. And I was wondering if, I hate to put you on the spot, but would you be willing to chair the Religious Affairs Committee independently?
I sure will.
All right. Well, is there any, I know this would regularly be brought before executive committee, but as it seems like there's enough executive committee members here, can we agree by acclamation to ratify the appointment of Reverend Allison as religious affairs chair? All right. As they say in church, and only the devil would oppose. So we congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other committee reports, and we'll get the information to you about when our executive committee meets. We'll put you on the list. Natalia, put them on the list for the link so that we can get it out to them, and we'll talk a little more in detail about some ideas. I won't leave you out there on a limb. If you'd like to serve with Reverend Allison, please let us know, and we'll put you in contact. We'll make sure y'all are in contact with one another. The Religious Affairs Committee of the NAACP tries to organize people of faith to be informed and be educated about voting, about what the policies are, and so that people have an opportunity to align their conscience with their policy and their politics. We don't tell folks who to vote for. We don't get partisan, but we tell the truth about everybody. And we try to make sure people of faith have the best information they can about what's going on that affects the people in those pews. So if that's something that you're interested in, let us know. Any committees that want to give reports? Go ahead, communications. And and also I should tell you that we have merged the communications committee with the membership committee. So Quinn, Ray, and Brittany Brown are co-chairing that committee. And Natalia is the corresponding secretary. So I'm not the corresponding. What are you? The
assistant secretary.
The assistant secretary. So I think you serve on both of those committees. So go ahead, Brittany.
So the communications committee just launched the Freedom Fund stuff as we showed you, or as I showed you, and we have we're revamping the website. So when it comes to events or announcements or things like that, I will put my email in the chat. If you have anything you need to promote or that the branch will be promoting, obviously things like there's the process it'll go through the executive committee and whatnot, but I will put my contact information in the chat and you can send things that way, or any suggestions or anything for the website when we launch that. And if you can, follow us on Facebook and Instagram once we get that back up. Right now it's just Facebook. And check us out online. And invite your friends to like the page and like and share our events when you can. And that is all.
Thank you. Are there any other committees that want to report in education? I don't see education.
Education committee will meet Wednesday at 5:30. So those of you who like to join us, we do have a lot to talk about, including the book ban, including as housing, as we had mentioned before, and several other equity issues. So just feel free to join us at 5:30 on Wednesday.
We have also.
Let me. I forgot. Bob Bird isn't on because his wife is in the hospital, and I just wanted to keep us for us to and she's been there since last week, and she may be able to come home tomorrow. I did get an update from him today that she has improved and things are looking really great, and so she may be able to come home tomorrow. And I meant to say that just before the prayer, but I did want, he's always here. And so since, and they both are usually on, and I just wanted you to know why they are not on today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We also merged the Criminal Justice Committee and the Education Committee because some of those issues overlap, and so they will be meeting at the same time. Dr. Flint, do you have anything that you'd like to say about criminal justice or any issues that you might bring up at the joint meeting? You're on mute, Dr. Flint.
I think the last time that I spoke with Dr. Yarborough, and that was at the executive committee meeting, we're going to be talking about the allocation for the SROs, and also in terms of maybe finding some way to work with the parents of our students. And Dr. Yarborough, will I get a notice for the Zoom link for this?
Yes, you will. I usually send when I get it, I usually send it to you, but it's the one that you already have. And also, Dr. Flint, at the last a called school board meeting, and maybe Patsy can say more about this. They have talked about cameras around the schools, and I noticed they did name 5 schools where they will be putting cameras, and one school already had cameras, so Broadview was pushed up now that and I don't know about how they're going to use them or how they will be manned, but Patsy might be able to add a little bit of that. But I do know that Broadview will now be one of the schools getting cameras for security. So
okay,
I didn't know whether Patsy wanted to comment on that or not.
Excuse me. I'm really not up to date on that. I know Broadview was moved up, but the specific reason is particularly in the back of the school where the school buses come in, where the football field is coming. There have been quite a few incidents of fighting and different things there. One of the issues that we're having with our camera system is that usually they are not monitored. There's not a person to actually, I guess I'm giving up security information, so please don't share this. But if the principal or the secretary is not doing something, then they can sit there and monitor. But it's not. So most of the security cameras usually are used when there is some type of incident of theft or altercations or things of that nature. In the ideal world, as I forgot his name, that's running for sure, would be someone who can monitor it at all times, even from a preventative measure. And that's not the type of cameras that we have due to the lack of personnel. But we are getting additional funds, not only for SROs, and I know everybody have concerns about SROs in the school and their roles. I have been supportive of SROs in the school, but only if they're trained appropriately and given the necessary training on biases and other things of that nature. I do know this Wednesday, if you're driving by, I think it's Holland Elementary, you see a lot of ambulances, police cars, and things of that nature. We have resumed doing our active shooter drills in the city of Burlington, so that will be taking place very soon. And the federal government and the state just allocated additional monies for securities in our schools. And so it's a great opportunity for the NAACP to submit a plan of what we would like to see in our schools in terms of the safety measures, since we are getting additional funding from that.
And Ms. Simpson, if you could get us that information, I'd like 2 question answers. What type of cameras are they? Are they motion detected, or are they security cameras which will be on all the time? And if it's the latter part, or even both type, will we be putting up signage saying couple places to put them up. They have signs up saying there are surveillance cameras at this property or something to that effect. Will people know
I
that?
have to check. I have to check on that. Most of the students know where the cameras are. That's why they go to other places, such as the hallway. I mean, the stairway, in different places. But I will ask that question and have that information for
Thank
you
you.
on Wednesday.
Thank you.
And and Dr. Flint,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can also invite Dr. Thorpe to our meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I want to also thank the committee chairs for being flexible with merging meetings when necessary and doing what is necessary to keep the committees going. I think those of us who have been around a long time know that the membership ebbs and flows based on kind of what's going on in the media sometimes. When Donald Trump got elected, our political action committee swole. It was the largest committee when some of the police shootings occurred, like right back to back. Our criminal justice committee swole, but there's not everybody has the stick with itness to go through what is the long drawn out process, and sometimes those more dedicated people hang around, but then we combine committees that overlap, and then when the committees grow, when the membership is up, then we separate those committees and they work independently. So I appreciate everybody being fluid. Dana, did you have your hand up?
I do. One of the things I kind of was late to the show on printing efforts, and I was wondering, in a lot of situations I see where functions such as the banquet will also have some way of very professionally asking if people want to contribute more than the ticket. And I may have waited too long for that to be in writing anywhere, if you all agreed. So that's that.
All right. I think it's Paul still here. Paul, can you make sure you get that back to the committee so I can work on the language of that? The Reverend Allison has put his contact information in the chat if you are interested in serving on the Religious Affairs Committee, or if you know somebody who might be interested, get this information and pass it along to them. Thank you, Reverend Allison. And I did want to mention, Ms. Ernestine hit on a meeting that she attended with Chief Cole and the folks who got pepper sprayed. I wanted to speak a little bit about it because I think the NAACP, I didn't see all of the video. It has been going around, but the NAACP's name was invoked, and so I wanted to explain to the branch kind of what has our level of participation. The week before that march, Reverend Drumright did call me and asked if the NAACP would co-sponsor or participate in that march where people were pepper sprayed. I said that I had no problem putting that before the executive committee, but we had an executive meeting in another week, and we need to discuss it. We need to get a vote on it. I try not to make those kind of unilateral decisions. This is a committee-led, committee-driven membership organization. And he said that we need to know before then. And I said, well, if you have to know before I can get it before the executive committee, then go ahead and do what you need to do, but you don't attach the NAACP's name to it because we haven't voted to proceed. And so he did. The folks got pepper sprayed. None of the folks who got pepper sprayed, to my knowledge, have filed a legal redress with the NAACP. And so we have kind of been behind this kind of silently, watching and paying attention. And my heart breaks for folks who suffered injuries for that. But this was not a NAACP sponsored, sanctioned, or authorized gathering. So we did not participate in that meeting. So when people say, well, where is the NAACP? Know that I was prepared to do that, but they were wanting to move faster. And one of the things I said, well, I have to know what your talking points are, what your action points are. I need to be able to present this to the branch so that we know what we're signing on for and what we're going to be talking about and what the procedures are. I know when we do events, we get the permits, we go over, even for the Martin Luther King March, and Ernestine knows too, that we go down to the Parks and Recs department, we go to the police station, we go over the plans for those marches, like we are planning the invasion of Normandy, so that everybody's on the same page. And I was hesitant to make a unilateral decision without the backing of the executive committee and the branch. It is not so if somebody says, well, they're anti-drum right, they're anti this movement, that is not the case. They didn't give us any information. They didn't give me any information to present to the executive committee, and they were doing it pretty rapidly. Like they put that together in a week's time. Any questions about that? Any concerns?
Wait, let me get back where I'm supposed to be. Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I went, but I was not representing the NAACP. I was representing Reverend Drumright because I know when he was in the MLK choir in NAACP youth. And I went to that meeting Thursday night. I don't know, I may have said some things. My daughter said something I shouldn't have said, but anyway, it's said and then done. But the whole thing it is, I am happy to see they have different groups, these young people doing something, because see, you cannot just continue to sit by and let people do things to you. You have to speak up. And they don't do it the way that I want to, because they didn't call me for nothing. They have these different groups, but like I said, long as they're doing something to let the people know we're here. A change is coming one day. We don't know. I probably won't live to see it. But I did say that, and I meant that when they were talking about that policeman they had in Graham. And like I said, I don't know what God has made me feeling better now for. I don't know whatever it is I'll do. Because they're going to meet the 9th of August in Graham about that policeman. And I said it. They hired that policeman to do that dirty work. I said it and I mean it. Because they don't usually hire people with certain backgrounds. But we know the situation here. But the whole thing is, I support those young people. See, Drumright just come down here because they asked him. He is not from here. I mean, he is from here, but he lives in Greensboro now. Like he said, if they need him, call him, he'll come. But he's disheartened because they did not admit they did anything wrong. And like he said, if he didn't do anything wrong, why did the city in the Graham and LMS County Sheriff Department have to pay out 3 lawsuits? Because they did that because they knew they could not win in court if they went to court. So, like I said, somebody has to take up the baton and we have to do what we have to do. But it was mentioned there somewhere that about a meeting that they had after the ride or before the ride. I don't remember what it was, before the march. Let me stop saying ride. And they had some clergies that met with some ministers and what have you, but Drumright said he was not invited to that meeting. But like I said, it's a lot of commotion and what have you, but wrong is wrong. I don't care who's doing it. And I told Chief Cole, if you don't lie, just be quiet, don't say nothing.
Thank you, Ms. Ernestine.
Because see, my age, I don't care right now. I'm not obligated to nobody. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose. But some change needs to come with the attitudes of these people. Some of these people. Okay, then I'm finished. I didn't mean to talk that long. I didn't mean to talk at all.
That's all right. Yeah, you did 5D. And so that, but you bring up a good point. That was not to prohibit people from participating in anything. You do what I want the members of this organization to do, what your conscience dictates you do. What I'm suggesting is that it was not a NAACP sanctioned event, and so we've not really engaged it because we haven't been because it requires those kind of things. Direct action from the NAACP requires a vote of the executive committee, and we are supposed to send that up the chain of command to get nationals approval, and we have to make sure that we are not singing from a different hymn book than the national program. And so all of those things are things that we have to take into consideration when we're talking about a national organization, is all I suggest. Now, what individuals do, you do what the Lord lay on your heart to do. There's no criticism of that from me. But we have to think in terms of a national organization. Is there anything else? Any other committees? The feeding program, how's that doing, Ms. Ernstine?
Oh, I gave that report. I'm in the kitchen because I had to come in the kitchen because I had been out,
Okay.
It's going good. It's still going. We're having more strange people coming up. Because we had 102 Sunday.
Okay. So it's the third, fourth, it's the second, fourth, and fifth Sunday. And I think the National Council of Negro Women took up a Sunday, didn't they?
They said they were, but nobody has contacted me.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Margie McLean about that. Anything else anybody got? Paul, did you have any final comments or anything you wanted to say? Okay. Well, if there's no other business that can, yes, sir. Oh, goodbye. Is that what you doing, Paul? Okay. So if
Board
there's
of Elections.
Oh.
Board of Elections will meet on Tuesday, 2:00. County Commissioners chambers. It is open to the public. I see one of the other members, Dr. Ashby, from the Board of Elections. Anything about Dr. Ashby?
No, I think is that we probably will have some discussion to clarify who's eligible to vote, given some recent decisions regarding people who are felons, and then also anything that's come up about the Green Party. But other than that, I think we're just going to have a regular meeting on Tuesday.
All right. Thank
and
you.
They have asked that Dana please come back to the meeting.
So yeah, so if you can go sweat them. I'm sure they miss you. Is Harley's going to the meetings? I think you and Harley, Dana and Harley's used to tag team them.
Yeah, we did that. Lisa came through a lot too. Just let them know that I'm not angry at anybody. It hit me one day. I can't do this. Well, it wasn't one day, but it was over a period of time. But Lisa, I don't know whether she's kind of moved somewhere else, but she was good at backing up too.
Yeah. So we do want to get people to go to as many of these meetings as possible. What we try to do on our website is have a calendar with as many of the municipal and county local boards as possible, so that you can go. If you find you got a free night, you can go to the NAACP website and figure out where there's a meeting. It is important to go to these meetings, even if you don't have anything to say. Just in Durham, we used to say that they used to call it sweating them. You just sit in the room, and because if the people who serve on these boards and committees and councils, if they don't think that people care, they are liable to try to get away with anything. And if they are right, then they will. So we go just to make sure that to keep them honest and to make sure that they're not talking to an empty room or they're not doing anything behind closed doors, that we go to bear witness. If we don't have anything to say, we can still bear witness and then report back what you heard and what if we need to organize. Dana was the perfect example of that. She was going to Board of Elections meetings. I think folks know they have them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The public had been coming to them. She went and then she came back and reported to the NAACP that they didn't seem poised for Sunday voting. They didn't seem poised to have a early voting in a majority minority precinct. And we showed up in droves. They had to move in chairs and lobbying after lobbying after lobbying. We finally got this Board of Elections. The makeup of this Board of Elections, we finally got Sunday voting. We finally got precincts and black and majority minority precincts, and we are beginning to get some equity, and we are getting funding, and we're getting access to the ballot in ways that we had not hoped for. So I want to thank Dr. Ashby and Dr. Yarborough and all the other members of the Board of Elections for moving in this direction. And I want to thank the folks who lobbied them. That's exactly what we got to do. So thanks to everybody. The chair, if there is there anything else I missed?
I
Yes, ma'am.
just wanted to comment how much, sometimes I had to get back a little bit to see how much we as a group have accomplished. When I look around and you all look around and you see who all's involved now, we got people of color and Hispanic folk, you know, everywhere, including Buddy, our leadership from NAACP, I believe really did get the urgency of our work out into the community. And I think we are keeping on. And we must really support the folk that we think will do the best job for us on the board of education and the commissioners, because those folks aren't used to people coming in. We still got old school leaders in the city government and the county commission, and have us show up. They really do wonder what we're there for. And they Pierre Johnson has cornered me several times. I don't have to say, I'm just got a free time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business that we need to conduct?
I don't have any business, Brother President, but getting to the Board of Elections, did anyone see the paper this morning where the Republicans are trying to have signature scrutinizing or whatever it is, where the people that have mail-in ballots, they have to verify their signature some kind of way. And people like my mother, who's 98 years old, and she registered to vote at an early age, her signature ain't nothing like it used to be. So they're trying to get this signature thing where they match signatures from when they're registered and things.
But I heard yesterday, and I also talked to a lawyer, that North Carolina does not have the technology to do that. You can't just look at it and say, well, this is suited to it. Is there is technology that can match them, even if they don't look alike.
Right.
But they were saying North Carolina just didn't have it.
No, they don't have it, but the Republicans are looking into that.
I know, and this is hope.
Yeah, they are asking that for write-ins, that we look at the signature on the envelope and to pull up their voter registration form and to see if they match, which would also be, number one, we don't have technology, neither do we have the manpower to do that, and people's signatures certainly change actually from 1 hour of the day to the next hour of the day.
That's
so yeah, not only over the year, you know, when you're in a hurry, it all depends on how long the line is, the space where you write your name, you know, all of those kinds of things will make a difference in how you have written your name. So yeah, we are looking at that, and hopefully others, hopefully the NAACP and other organizations will weigh in on that.
My idea is that they want this to get out in the community to people like our parents, like our elders, me and others, that will just say, oh, hell with it. We just won't vote. And I think there's
That's the idea.
yeah, it's just they're gonna turn me away, no matter what I do. I just won't go. And I think we've got to fight that thinking.
All right, we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Right.
That's right.
All right. Is there any other business? Thank you, Reverend Allison.
Yes.
Shall we entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
It's moved and properly second. All those in favor, aye?
Uh,
All right. Thank you, folks. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate your dedication.
You too.
thank you. Mhm.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.